Hi everyone and welcome to Season 1, Episode 8 of Reputation Rebuild at Auxerre with me, the United City FM. So, form recently has been fairly dreadful. We went on like about a 4 or 5 match losing streak. Not good enough at all. So I had to do something. I reached my breaking point and I changed formation and style of play. So we have a brand new tactic. It's still narrow, but it's different than what we were playing. So let's check that out as we play Clermont in Ligue 2. So, as I say, form has been fairly rubbish, to be honest. We've got a win and a draw since I changed the tactic. But 4 games before that, we didn't ever look like being in any of those games whatsoever. And it's been very, very bitty for the last couple of months. The board were getting a bit agitated, so I had to do something about it. So I have actually changed the tactic, and it's worked. Lorient, we played and we won 2-1 in that particular game. Saki and Lebihan with the goals. And then Ajaccio, we played... Not sure if I got that pronunciation right, but there we go. We got a 1-1 draw, but they're sitting in 3rd place or something in the league. They were higher than us anyway. We're currently in 8th in the competition, which is not good enough at all. And we have dropped off. At one point, we were sitting in 3rd, 4th and looking pretty decent. And it's been just a slow, steady decline since then. You can see Ajaccio there up the top. In 3rd place, so a 1-1 draw against them wasn't too bad. Today we play Clermont and they're sitting in 5th place. We need to reel them back in. A win today would put us 5 points behind them and drag us back towards that playoff spots. And we have to do that today, really, if we've got any chance of getting into one of these playoff positions. That is the aim of the season now, is to try and find a way to get into that. No more cup distractions. This is what we have for the rest of the season. Just Ligue 2 matches. Today, Clermont. So let's get into the tactics page and show you what we've changed. So this is what we have. We're still in a narrow formation, but the 2 central defensive midfielders and the 2 attacking midfielders behind 2 strikers wasn't working for me. The long ball just never really got us dominant in any of the games. We weren't clinical enough to make the most of a few chances. We need to create more than we were. And I think that some of our players are better than what we were playing in terms of the direct style. So I've decided to stay narrow. We haven't got the wide men to do anything else. We got into the diamond though. We haven't quite got the players to play all of these roles naturally just at the moment, but that's something we can work on in the next couple of transfer windows. We've gone into the vertical tiki-taka, but it's quite a reduced instruction vertical tiki-taka. If we go and have a look, the only instructions here are we're playing a narrow attacking width, playing through the centre, and we're dribbling less. Other than that, there's not much else to say. We're on standard direct passing and a slightly lower tempo. So it's not overly impressive with its instruction, but that's kind of where I wanted to start from. Similarly, this page, no instructions here at all. We're just letting them play for a little while, seeing where the land lies. And we can add a couple of these things in as we go. But just at the moment, we're going to let them play and see how it goes. And for the last couple of games, as you've seen, it's not been doing too badly. Defensive width, we've got a standard. We've got a higher line of engagement and a higher defensive line. Standard pressing. It's not something that I want to desperately do, but it's something that we can do here and there. And again, other than that, no major instructions on that. So we're going to try and keep it quite simple. Play a vertical tiki-taka through the diamond, hopefully getting some attempts for our strikers up top. And just seeing if we can control the game a little bit more, have a little bit more possession, and try and show that we are potentially one of the better sides in this division if we get the tactics right. And I'm hoping that this will be the way that we can do that. So a win and a draw so far. The draw against a higher opposition side, so that's not too bad. Today we play Clermont, who sit in 5th place. So another tough, tricky game, but we have to start closing that gap. So we don't have any issues in terms of personnel today. Everybody's fit and healthy. The only one that's just coming back from a knock is Bernard, so he's not on the bench today. But everybody else is fit. So the team that I've decided to put out is Michel in goal, Bregury and Suprayan in central defence, Setou at right back, Boto at left back, Adioto, Belogu, Ngando and Saki in central midfield, with Lebihan and Yanis up top. with a bench of Wilson, Gaspard and Dom, Touré, Sylvestre, Dugimon and Yatara. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So I've gone assertively to suggest that they need to impress me today, keep our run going. It didn't really get too much of a response. It's going to be a tricky game away from home against one of the top sides in the division. Currently sitting in 5th are Clermont. So it's going to be tricky, but as long as we compete well, as long as we cause them some problems as well as them causing us probably a few, as long as we don't make too many silly errors ourselves, then I think we've got a chance. The last couple of games would suggest that. But we've got to keep it tight and maybe get through to half-time 0-0, push on into the second half and get a late winner would be ideal, really. Clermont, though, with a sweeping free kick from this near side all the way to the far post. Chance goes over the top, and they don't quite manage to trouble the goalkeeper. Chance for us with Ngando dropping it back to Adiotti. Out wide right to Situ, and this is better, this is good. Cross comes in and the header probably wasn't going to hit the target anyway, but the goalkeeper gets a covering hand on it. Again a sweeping free kick in. Oh, that was really close, wasn't it, on that occasion? Inches wide, and we rode our luck towards the end there, but we have gone in at 0-0 at half time. Decent amount of possession really for both sides, pretty much 50-50. A few attempts from both sides, but not many on target, just the one for us. So it's the kind of game that we kind of wanted. Can we push through it and get something in this second half? Let's continue to be assertive and say we owe Clermont from what happened last time. Now is the time to turn up the temperature a little bit and push at them. We're going to take it from balanced and just go into positive. And see if we can get on the front foot just a little bit. They haven't been able to challenge our goalkeeper too much so far. So hopefully we can just find a way to get one decent attempt and clinically take it. That's the challenge ahead of us. Anyway, 74 minutes in though. Things are struggling a little bit, aren't they? We're going to have to take Botto off, and we don't have our normal left-sided player on the bench. Gaspard's going to have to go and play there anyway. He can play the left-side role, but not quite as well as you'd want him to, really. But he'll have to come in just because we have to protect Botto with the conditioning that he's got. And then we got a couple of poor ratings. Saki, one of our better players, not playing well today. Sylvestre comes in for him. And then we have to take the youngster off, yellow card and low rating, no goals today. And we bring Yatara in up top and see if he can find a route through to goal. I'm kind of happy enough with a draw, but we do need to see if we can push through for that win if possible. So we're going to take it into attacking and go into the shouts and just demand more from them for the last few minutes of the game. And here is the chance. Sylvestre on the ball, drops it into Yatara, and oh, the goalkeeper comes and gets a hand on it and just pushes it wide of the post. That was our chance. Can we create another one off the corner kick to the far post? Nope, too close to the goalkeeper. Claims it very nicely. Settles the play down for them. They get a chance to now come back at us. They go really long over the top. And Gregory, for a second, I thought he had created his own downfall. And it kind of did a little bit, but just about the goalkeeper manages to keep the ball out the back of the net. And it goes out for a corner kick. Corner comes in deep into the 6-yard box. We get it partially cleared, but Clermont pick up the ball on the top of the penalty box and slow the play down again, drop it into their defence to keep possession of the ball, and they come back at us down the right-hand side, but wayward ball and highlight ends. Couple of minutes left. Can we get one shot? Oh, we can't. I think we were a little bit lucky in the end. We'll go and check out everything in terms of the analysis in a second and figure out exactly what happened. But I think we were just a smidge lucky just to stay with them in the last few minutes of the game. But we did. We got a 0-0 draw. I guess that's okay compared to where we are to where they are in the league. But ultimately, I would have liked a little bit more of a cutting edge up top. And we didn't quite find it. I can't still quite find the best double act for our two striking positions. It's a bit of an issue. But anyway, let's go and analyse the game and see what happened and where we didn't quite manage to get the win. So largely it went in the favour of Clermont in the second half. We were fairly even through the first, but if you look at the shots taken in the second overall, in the second half they went ahead of us a little bit on that. 11 shots to 7 in that particular category. Shots on target fairly even, 4 and 3. And then possession, excuse me, we lost a little bit of the possession just in that little second half of the game. We were closer to them after the first half. Second half, not quite as good. And we remained even on average ratings, but didn't quite manage to find a way to get through their defence and through to goal and have a decent attempt. So you can see that the ball retention in terms of the action zones is fairly even, really. That's not too bad. We spent a lot of time down the right-hand side. That's fine, but we didn't quite manage to make the most of it for whatever reason. You can see... This doesn't make any sense. Now, if people can explain this again to me, I'm genuinely interested. This is telling us the focus of our attacks, 50% of it is down the right-hand side, but our heat map says we worked more down the left-hand side. So this 16%, whilst it must have been quite few and far between, we must have just stood somewhere with the ball for a couple of minutes and just held on to it and got our heat map to sort of redden up a bit down that left-hand side, even though a lot of our attacks went down the right. It still makes no sense to me. I'm struggling to understand how these correlate to each other at times. But anyway, I'm sure that's what it was. The 16% that we had down the left-hand side somehow was just slower build-up play, and we got more heat map there. But kind of doesn't make too much sense, really, does it? They worked down the left and the right again. That's where we're slightly weaker, but they couldn't break us down as much as we couldn't them. So let's go and check out why we couldn't in terms of our shots that we sent their way today. So we're going to just look at our own. So these are the 3 shots off target that we had, and we worked it into the box, and then they'd put a couple over the top and 1 wide, and then we had 3 that were saved. Again, one or 2 from inside the box that we should have been putting away, and then a couple that were blocked from slightly further out as well. So again, it's the clinical nature of our finishing that was letting us down today, really. Our passing interceptions, again, I think that's not too bad. I think there's less in this kind of area than there is in this kind of area, which is fine. Out of play, not fantastic, but not terrible either. These are the things that we're trying to get more accuracy for. I might have to reduce the distance on our passing, possibly, just to help out with that a little bit, because it still doesn't quite feel like we're having enough of the ball for my liking, especially now we're playing the vertical tiki-taka. But yeah, let's see how we did in the tackles. Did we win it in the tackles? A good amount in our fullback kind of areas, both from our fullback but also covering midfield players, etc. So that's good to see. Tackles lost a couple down the right hand side by our right fullback. So 2 key challenges, both in the right hand side. Botto coming across and doing some work there, but then there's our right back as well, so 2. So we did okay in terms of the tackling. Scoring chances, this is what lets us down. We had 1 clear-cut chance and 1 half chance, and we got them into the box, and we didn't quite manage to put them away. How did Clermont do on that? They only had the 1, so we outdid them on that. So we did create a couple. We just haven't found that partnership yet, really, that really puts teams to the sword. We did it a couple of games ago and looked pretty decent. And then today, it just felt a bit toothless again. And I think that's where we lost it today. We created a few chances, not as many as I'd like, but a few. We stayed in the game. We were roughly even with the most of it. And we just couldn't find a way to put one of our chances in the back of the net. And that cost us. So we'll go into the team talk. We'll tell them that they were unlucky because ultimately we got a draw away from home. We tried. It just didn't quite work out as well as we'd have maybe liked it to. Then we'll move out, see what that's done in terms of our league position. We've dropped a position. And it's Ken that have come past us on goal difference. Again, we just drift a little bit further away from these couple of playoff positions. And we've got to find a way to pick up some points soon to try and get back at it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen, is it? There we go. We're held by them for a draw by Clermont. And the manager of Grenoble has been sacked, so he's obviously struggling a little bit. I honestly thought that we would get called into the office a little bit of our board a couple of games back now when we're going on this 4-game run. It didn't quite materialise. I think the win against Lorient came at just the right point. Couple of draws though, disappointing. Whilst we're on this page, let's not cut away from it. Let's just talk about what we're going to come back for in the next episode. And it's basically going to be Guingamp or Le Mans, one or the other, depending on where fixtures are and how we're going at the time. But one of those games is what we'll come back for next episode. And then we'll come back for the last episode for Ken and just see if we can pick up some points between then and now and see if we can move back up the table a little bit. Otherwise, we're going to have a very disappointing end to this season. We were doing perfectly well through November, but since the turn of the year in January, it's been a bit hit and miss. We had a good couple of results early on, and then that really bad run of form. And it's kind of knocked the stuffing out of us a little bit, though. Let's see if we can keep persevering with the new tactic, tweak a couple of the instructions, add a couple back in, get us into a better place with that, and then see if we can pick up the points in the next few games. There's some winnable matches, but only if we play well. That's basically going to do it for today, though. Disappointing result, although a 0-0 draw away from home against a higher level opposition in the league. It's not terrible. It's just not particularly inspiring. And I want to be inspired by this team, so it's about time that we figured out how to do it. I'm going to keep trying and working on that. Come back next episode, see if I've managed to tweak those tactics a little bit and push us into a better place. Or maybe we've just drifted and got a few more draws and stuck roughly where we are. Anything is possible at this point. Come back and join me next episode to find out. Thanks for joining me today, though. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button for me. Helps get seen by lots of other people. Until next time, though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.